NBA totals for Saturday. We are back at it today, January 21st, and we're going to break down some totals. This segment where we look at, this is a live segment where we look at NBA totals set by odds makers. We go ahead and try and beat that line, either going over or under the total. Yesterday we were 2-1, but when we talked about our spread picks that we do at the end of the segment, I think we had a pretty good day, if I recall correctly, in which I do. So I know we did. We're going to go ahead. We're going to look at three games today. Again, as I mentioned, also we have our NCAA basketball segment out there as well, in which we cover the totals. So be sure to check that one out. That one's been ongoing the entire season, and will continue to do so until March Madness. It's been going pretty well. NBA has been kind of up and down, but we still got a winning record on the season. And since we've started this live segment, we've been doing okay. We're around 22 and 15, somewhere around there, 22 and 14. Anyways, so again, don't forget to check out sbrpicks.com, sportsbook review. We got all the sportsbooks there, sign-up bonuses, blacklist, things you got to avoid, as far as sportsbooks, which ones to avoid. Also our YouTube channel, Facebook page, it's all there, sportsbook review. Be sure to check out, all the other videos, all the other free picks. Share this video. And let's get to some totals. I encouraged some feedback. We had some great feedback yesterday. And if you guys got anything to say, you can chime right in. So I'm going to get a swig of coffee, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Some early games today. We're going to cover kind of one of the early ones. Okay, so first game today is Portland and Boston. I don't have anything on that one. I kind of like the over, but I just skipped that one because it's going off in an hour. And I want to do this in a timely manner. So we're looking at the game right after that, which is Washington and Detroit. And I'm actually going under on all my plays today. Let's take a look at this game. So Washington and Detroit, right now, the line has gone from 211 to 208. I'm going under, and much to my chagrin, because I had circled under last night. And the reason I'm going under is a couple. First of all, Detroit is a much better team defensively than New York, than what the Wizards just face. And that game went up and down. It was silly. But Detroit seems like they're starting to turn a corner, and I believe they're going to really do a nice job with Washington, an okay defensive team for the most part. Now, as far as the line's concerned, we got a really interesting line here. As historically speaking, since 2003, now this line started at 211. Historically speaking, we've never seen a line this high between Washington and Detroit since 2003. At least that's where my stats go back to. There's never been a line this high, but that's not surprising. There was a cool little trend we've been looking at for a while, but that's not surprising considering that that's going to come up again, too, in another one of our picks, where we've never seen lines this high. It's just that's the way it is this year. It's bananas. Teams are scoring, I've mentioned this before, at an exponential rate, and you have to take that in consideration why odds makers have set the line. That being said, I still think this goes under. I think there's a reason why the line dropped, and although they had a really high scoring affair the last time they met, I don't think they matched that. Let's look at that matchup. In that game at Washington, this game's in Detroit. Washington won 122 to 108. And it was pretty up-tempo, somewhat, at least on Detroit's end, where they got up 86 attempts. Washington just got up 77, but they shot, at home, 57% from the floor. That is extremely good. That would rank first in the NBA by far. And they shot 48% from distance. That's not happening tonight. I don't care how well they've been playing. When you look at Washington, yeah, they've been pretty hot, but they haven't played any of the elite teams, or at least any teams that play really any significant defense. I think they're going to find that tonight. I think Detroit wins this game too. But again, I'm a Stan Van Gundy guy, so you have to take that in consideration. I'm a little biased. Detroit shot 48% from the floor in that matchup. Not bad. 35% from distance. About average. They shot a little bit better than average. But, they scored 58 points in the fourth quarter. But more alarming is they scored 65 points in the second quarter. That's not going to happen again. They're not going to get up and down like Washington did at New York. I mean, they're a better defensive team. Detroit's a better defensive team. And I think this is going to stay to a more reasonable number here. So let me take a quick look at some stats here as I pull this up. And mostly I want to focus on Detroit because I think they're going to control the tempo. Right now, Detroit's averaging just 100.2 points per game. But more importantly, they're allowing just over 100 points per game. They rank fifth in the league in scoring defense. And also, their shooting efficiency or opponent shooting efficiency and opponent effective field goal percentage, they rank right in the middle of the league. And right now, they're allowing opponents to shoot just 49.4% on their 2-point shots. That ranks 11th in the league. And that's Washington's strength. That's where they score most of their buckets. Well, I mean, everyone scores most of their buckets there. Percentage-wise, in proportion to their three-point shooting, they're a better two-point shooting team. So I think Detroit's going to do enough. The pace shouldn't be super, super fast, although Detroit's picked it up just a little bit. I don't think they get to 208. I don't. Washington is actually a semi-okay defensive team. They rank right in the league, in the middle of the league, excuse me, in field goals attempted and made per game by their opponent. So, I think that's the reason why it's gone down. I'm going to back under that total. All right, next one up. Philadelphia and Atlanta. This is another line that dropped. And that's surprising to see lines that drop. Yesterday we saw just one that did that. Let's take a look at that game. So it's 198. And again, like I said, on everything I'm going under today. One of the games I'll get to that in a second. Sorry, I digress. Now that Philadelphia Atlanta, again, there's another game where I had it at 200 and it's gone down to 198.5. I'm still going under. That's a really good Atlanta defense. These teams, these are both these head coaches are proteges of Popovich. So this should be a pretty good matchup. But I just don't think they're going to get there. I mean, they met earlier in the season, and the Hawks smashed way earlier in the season. The Hawks smashed them 117-96. And the Sixers, holy cow, how hot are they right now? My goodness, what a great win for them yesterday. I had Portland in that matchup. Guy hits a three right at the end. That was sweet. I mean, hey, it's a loser for me, but you got to give them props, man. That was pretty sweet. So, but it was 117-96, which gets us well over this total. So that gives me a little bit of pause as to why did odds makers actually set this total the way they did. And I want to pull up some more stats on that real quick. But there's a good reason for it, because you're talking about two pretty good defensive teams. And in that matchup, 76ers got up 83 attempts. Atlanta got up 95. That's ridiculous. They're not going to get up that many tonight. Philadelphia's playing much better defense than what we've seen, than what we saw from them the first couple months of the year. They've really, that's why they're winning. They're playing great defense. It's not because they're scoring, a tremendous amount of points. They're playing good defense. They're playing good team defense. Both teams shot particularly well in that game, with Atlanta 40% from distance, Philadelphia 38% from distance. I don't think that happens again either. Also, they scored 57 and then 58 points in the second and third quarters. I don't think that happens either. So I think it's going to be a really more low scoring, kind of a bogged down defensive battle. And I really want to, there was something I definitely wanted to mention about this game too. Give me just two heartbeats here. So as far as like the total is concerned by odds makers, they came out with 200, then it went down to 198. I haven't checked the injury report, so I might be off on something. If somebody knows something, you guys please chime in. I haven't checked the injury report. I'm going right off the number. I don't think anyone's injured, as far as I know. But in their last four contests, they're 3-1 on the overs, but it was the odds maker said at 208, 209, 202, 206.5. And we're talking about the same coach, basically the same personnel, except last year they didn't have Embiid. So let's just look at their last two. They had two games way earlier in the year. They had 202, 206.5. They went under and over. But odds makers still set this one at 200. There's a reason for that. Their odds makers aren't giving away free money. I really think this stays well under the total. And one quick thing. I mean, let's talk about their defensive statistics. Atlanta is a really good defensive team. Philadelphia, right now, they're allowing opponents to shoot just 48.7% on their two-point shots. That ranks fifth in the NBA. Philadelphia. I got to stress that. And they're allowing opponents 44.8% shooting overall. That ranks ninth. They rank in the top 10 defensively. Holy cow. Joel Embiid, getting it going. Yeah, they've been great. In Atlanta, they rank right outside, like 11th and 12th in all the important defensive statistics. They also Atlanta ranks 9th in defensive scoring. Philadelphia ranks 15th. So there might be a little bit of tempo, but I don't think they get the 198.5. Also, they're both on the second leg of a back-to-back. Philadelphia with that big win, emotional win at the buzzer, kind of at the buzzer. And then Atlanta thumped Chicago. I called that, by the way, if you recall. All right, last one. We got the Clippers in Denver. Oh, boy. This was a tough one, but I like the under. I'm going to tell you why I like the under. Denver's been absolutely insane. Okay. It's gone up. This line's gone up. It went from 220 to 222.5, which makes absolutely perfect sense because Denver's been scoring an amazing amount of points. And they've gone over about 10 games in a row. I'm not even going to go and pull that up. I know that as a fact. It was like 10 games. They've gone over. I don't think it happens tonight. Clippers are thin, and Clippers have actually shown, Rivers has shown a pretty good, um, he's had a pretty good defensive scheme against a high-scoring Denver offense. The Denver's back at home, but I think the Clippers are going to be able to do enough, and I don't think they're going to be able to score enough to help get over this. You kind of need two teams to tango to get over this 222.5, and I don't think we're going to see that. Their last matchup was the day after Christmas, 106 to 102. Denver won in LA. And then prior to that, it was 119 to 102 on the 20th, just a week before, and that was also in LA. Surprisingly, it went LA. Now they set those lines at 218, then they went down to 208.5. They went over and then it went under. So odds makers were really on top of that. Now they went up all the way to 220. And like I mentioned before with the Washington-Detroit game, it's an interesting fact. The 220 is the second highest total we have seen between the Clippers and Denver since 2003. They had a 221.5 set in which they went over back in 2014. That's pretty amazing. But now it's at 222.5. This would be the highest total they've ever had. If it ends that way, you have to wait. There's still a few hours before that tips off. But let's look at that last game, and then I'm going to wrap this up with a couple spreads, answer some comments, and we'll go ahead and finish today. Now, Denver won that game 106 to 102. Their last matchup just about a month ago. But Denver scored 40 points in the second quarter. They scored a combined 63 points in the second quarter. I don't think that happens again. What I like is the second half of that game where Denver was held to 16 and 27 points respectively in the third and fourth quarter. I think Doc Rivers and I think the Clippers are good enough defense to keep Denver to at least a semi-reasonable number, maybe 110 or less. And I don't think the Clippers are going to be able to score enough to go ahead and get over this big 222.5. That's a lot of points. I mean, they're going to have to get up and down the whole time. And the tempo in that game was quite slow. Denver just got up 82 attempts, and the Clippers got up 84, but they both shot pretty decently well across the board. Denver doesn't play a lot of defense. Clippers actually do. And although they're thin, I don't think they're going to have enough scoring and they're going to try and slow the pace down. I think that's the only way they're going to win. They're a little bit of an underdog, as they should be in this game. All right, so we're going to go under the total of that. Quick recap, spread totals, and we'll go ahead, answer some questions, and get out of here. All right, we got Washington, Detroit under the 208, Philadelphia, Atlanta under the 198.5, and the Clippers and Denver under the big 222.5. All right, so we don't have a ton of comments today, and that's okay. Let's see. Ooh, sorry, almost deleted that. With Atlanta, man, Philadelphia is getting, somebody asked me about Atlanta. Philadelphia is getting 10 right now. That's incredible. They've been playing great basketball. I would take the points. They're both coming off a back-to-back. But as far as my spread picks, let me tell you who I like, and then if you got something else you want to ask, you can ask. And I agree. Spurs are my favorite team. I think they're going to win it. Whoever comes out of the West. Cleveland's not winning it, and they're probably going to win the East. So it's going to be whoever comes out of the West. It's going to be San Antonio or Golden State. Houston doesn't play enough defense. Okay, so spread picks today. I like San Antonio. I think they win that game straight up. I'll gladly take them on the plus money line. Who else is out there? Okay, let's just run it down. Portland and Boston, I don't really have an opinion on that because Portland's so unpredictable right now. Washington, Detroit, I'll take Detroit. Brooklyn and Charlotte, too big of a spread. I'm not really sure. Charlotte looks like they're turning a corner. Philadelphia, Atlanta, I already mentioned that, but nothing strong. Milwaukee, Miami, I can't put my finger on Milwaukee. They can be so ice cold sometimes. And Miami's seem to be, they're also kind of turning a corner. So if gun to my head, I take Miami. Phoenix and New York, who cares? That's going to be a track meet, by the way. I don't know what the total is probably really big. I'd have to double check it. Houston and Memphis, this would be my play of the day. I like Memphis. I actually have a write-up on that. Memphis is a very, very good team. They're a very good veteran team. Houston has played a ton of games in the last couple weeks. Now they're coming off playing Golden State. I think they have to travel to Memphis. That's a really tough spot against a Memphis team that can score and plays defense. So I don't think the fact that Houston's favored, I'm taking Memphis straight on the plus money line. I think they win that game. Again, San Antonio plus money line. Indiana, Utah. Man, Indiana did not look good against the Lakers. I don't know about that one. Utah probably runs away with that. Indiana's going to have trouble scoring back to back also. So is but Utah's coming from back from an overtime game. So Clippers, Denver. I don't know how the Clippers are going to react, and that's it. Sacramento, Chicago. I got no opinion on that. So basically, my two plays would be Memphis and San Antonio. That's it. All right. So let's see. We got a couple questions here. Yes, I think Spurs are going to win the championship. Spurs or the Warriors. Talking about the Spurs offense. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a huge Popovich fan, so I'm biased. I'm biased on that. NCAA, I don't really have much going on today. I do have the over and under totals that you want to check out. All right, let's go ahead. One recap real quick, and I'm going to go and end the session. We got, again, Washington, Detroit under the 208, Philadelphia, Atlanta under the 198.5, Clippers in Denver under the 222.5 on this great Saturday. So enjoy your weekend. Got some great football action coming up as well. We'll be back tomorrow, and I wish you guys luck on all your picks today.